There are few things as frightening or destructive as a fire. Prevention is always the best defense, but it's also important to know what to do if one starts. Fire needs 4 elements to burn: fuel, oxygen, an ignition source, and a chemical reaction. There's not much you can do about oxygen. It's in the air all around us. But you can minimize the hazards of flammable substances by storing them correctly and cleaning up any spills right away. Dispose of your cleanup materials properly and always maintain tight control of possible ignition sources. Should a fire start, you can probably put out a small one quickly and prevent its spread. Most people immediately think dousing a fire with water will put it out. That could actually be the worst thing to do. Some materials react violently with water. All fires are not alike. There are different types or classes based on their fuels or heat sources. A Class A fire is the most common. It's fueled by ordinary flammable solids such as wood, paper, or cloth. Water is very effective at fighting a Class A fire. A Class B fire is fueled by liquids or gases such as gasoline, kerosene, propane, or grease. Since those fuels are often water insoluble, dousing the flames with water can actually spread the fire. A Class C fire is often called an electrical fire. It starts in appliances, switches, panel boxes, and power tools. Water should never be used on this type of fire. It's an electrical conductor and poses a serious risk of electrocution to nearby people. A Class D fire involves certain metals that burn at very high temperatures. These types of fires react violently, even explosively, when exposed to water. Obviously, it's important to know what kind of fire it is before you try to put it out. There are several types of fire extinguishers: carbon dioxide, water, foam, dry chemical, and dry powder. Each works a particular way to break the chain reaction that causes a fire to burn. Water extinguishers work by cooling the fuel so it can't burn. They should only be used on Class A fires. Foam extinguishers are appropriate for Class A or Class B fires. The foam cools too, but it primarily works by cutting off oxygen to the flames. Dry chemical extinguishers work by starving flames of oxygen, but they have no cooling properties. They are best for Class A, B, or C fires. Dry powder extinguishers absorb heat and are only used for Class D fires, the ones with very high ignition temperatures. Each fire extinguisher has a faceplate that clearly lists the classes of fire it's designed for. You can use most fire extinguishers the same way. Just remember PASS, P-A-S-S. First, pull the safety pin. Then, aim the nozzle at the base of the flames. Squeeze the handle and sweep back and forth, covering the base of the fire. But if the fire is too big or is reported in another part of the building, you may need to evacuate. Whether it's prompted by a fire or some other emergency, good evacuation plans are the difference between life and death. If you're told to evacuate, never assume it's a drill, and don't try to finish whatever you're doing. Just leave immediately. If someone needs assistance, try to help, but get out as quickly as you can. Know your evacuation routes and the location of emergency exits well. Depending on the situation, you might have to find your way to safety in near zero visibility. If, for instance, a power outage plunges your building into total darkness, or a fire fills it with thick smoke. When the evacuation signal is given, go to your assigned place of refuge. Report to your assembly point promptly so everyone can be accounted for as soon as possible.